Hey data warriors, welcome back to the Forge Tech, and this is video 11th of our data analytics series. And today we are diving into something fundamental yet powerful, which is SQL data types, which is SQL data types. So these are basically the building blocks of our databases. If you don't get this part right, your queries might run slow, your data may get messy, and trust me, debugging won't be fun anymore. So in this session, we will be exploring float, varchar, date, integer, and some advanced types like Boolean, JSON, and blob. We'll also cover some real-world use cases, performance tips, and best practices to help you make smart choices while designing your database schemas. So let's jump right into it. So the chapter one is going to be we can just learn one by one. So the data types. So let's understand what basically is data types. So data types are SQL data type basically I'm talking about. But even you would have seen in data types in programming language also, right? So in programming language also we might have heard, right, somewhat in float. If you have, for example, if you would have learned Java or some programming language like Python or something, so you must be knowing about data types, right? The same way how our fields are designed and what is the value of field is called as database. For example, let's say sid, s name, a student, we have a table, and is something like gender, let's say. So what these actual fields or attributes are having values, if they are carrying for example, let's say whole number like 1023, then it will be comes under int data type, right? So similarly, SQL data types define what kind of data can be stored in a column, what type. Like for example, if your name is there, what is the type of that? In name will be a group of characters, right? I'm sorry. We also called it a string or a group of characters. So the choosing the right type of affects performance, storage, data validation, and query speed. So you have to choose the right data type for the right fields or attribute. For example, s name will be string. Similarly, sid, which is your student id, or maybe your usn you might have in your university serial number, right? Everyone is having unique serial number, that's why we put those in primary key. And we have discussed, I think, primary and foreign key, or else we'll be discussing in future classes as well. And yes, so this is what a data type is. And there are so many categories, like numeric categories. There comes the numeric, you will be seeing like two things. So we will just write it just numeric. In numeric we have int, float, right? So string type also, as I told, right, in string type what will be coming? Varchar. Var means variable, right? Char means character. It is made of two things, which is var and char. Var means variable, char means character. It will store variable characters, right? Date and time function also we have, where we have date function, time function, and date and time. Date time we call. So it will be in format of date. What will be format? Sorry, yy and and dd, right? Similarly, time will be and yeah, and then minute, and ss. So this is all about the type. And now let's understand it, integer data type first, line by line. So integer data type, what you guys mean? It's a whole number, as I told, right? Whole number or natural number, you can say, even if it's that as well. But whole number will include zero as well, so I just told it's a whole number. So it's basically a whole number, uh, like ranges, as you can see over here, right? It's a range 10 to the power 126 or something, if you can just count it some number, right? So it is the range of integer data type. We have seen in programming languages also, if you can relate it with the same, right? It's the same range in which our programming language we have. If you guys have studied C programming, you would have studied that range as well, and this is ideal for counting. And let's say, let's give some example of in data type. For example, quantity, id also I told just now, right? Student id. So these are kind of int data type. And why one should use it? I mean, why, let's say, why we use int data type? So first of all, it's simple and fast, and also it is storage efficient. It won't take much of your space or storage, right? And of course it's smaller size, so faster queries. And also we should, we should keep in mind one thing: we should not avoid using, float when integer will do, because it takes, more memory. If you're using float, for example, it's not like if you're having a, USN ID like 23. Let's say your roll number is 23, you can store it even float also. Like float can store any values, even 23.0, right? You can just write it as similar way. But why we want to use float here, we'll use int, because it will take more memory. Why to waste memory if you are writing an integer value? So put it inside int. I hope you understood. So if you don't understand, you can just let me know in the comment section. That not an issue. We'll try to clear it. And that's what we mean, that we should avoid using float unnecessarily. If the Because it will, we should not overuse the memory and the storage, because our database will have the limited storage. And if you go deep into that, again you will understand how the actual database thing works, how is on platform database we use, how it is, it's not cost efficient all the time. So how to make it cost, that's again going depth into that, is a kind of complex thing. So let's keep it till here, that we should not use float, and if not required, if it is work is done with int, use int data type. That's it. And now let's directly jump to float data type that we have come. And it's for decimal number basically, as you guys know, and it is useful when you need fractions like scientific calculations. Let me give you an example. For example, I give you 23.2727. So this will be comes under, you can store it in float data type. So this is how it goes. And also you can use float data type in financial reports to find the approximates, right? But also you should, uh, be aware with some things like float, may introduce rounding errors due to precision loss. So there is a precision loss concept. Because of that, even they can, do some introduce some rounding errors. So we should use, for example, if you're going, like it's a large decimal thing, 272727. So we should avoid using float here. Reason is that it might, while trying to round it, it might, for taking approximate and all, it might give some rounding errors due to precision loss, because their memory is limited, right? So in this situation, especially the one I gave example, it can even go longer. We must use decimal concept or numeric concept, where accuracy is the key. For example, you want the accurate data, right? Let's It can be anything, right? 27282928. So if you want accurate data, you get this much I need. For example, especially in terms of cash flow or money, if it's in crores of rupees, it might leads to loss, right? If you do some small mistakes also, it might leads to millions of losses. So in those particular cases, you should take care of the thing, and you must use the decimal or numeric instead of using float. So I hope you understood, right? So now let's and also what we are telling here, float is a numeric data type, as I told you, right? It's a type of numeric data type storing decimal numbers, allowing fractions, but may involve precision loss. I told this, right? Precision issue. This is the reason we are using decimal for longer. If the it's a big decimal number, or the especially it's related to financial thing or money, or some related to an important the numbers, or the this might, if the thing is might leads to some losses, then you must use decimal or numeric out there. So this is you should keep in mind. And float allows a larger number or range of values. As I told, it's larger range of values, but precision loss may occur. If the value is larger, precision loss might occur, right? So for that reason we use this, and if it is too much required, then we use this. And now let's go to the other thing, which is varchar. So varchar stands for variable character basically. As I told, var means variable, so it basically means variable, and char for character. It is used for char data type also. You might have heard char data type, right? So but we should keep one thing in mind: we should avoid over allocating varchar. For example uh, for example let's say my name is Jay, right? So if the thing can be done in char of 4, so why should I take a varchar of 100, right? It's waste of time, right? And so that is the reason we should not over allocate, because it's again a memory loss, because you are already allocating a 100 character memory to the that particular place. which just require 3 to 4 digit. So why to overuse it? So that's in that situation we must not use varchar, and you should only use if it is a variable characters, if it is you are not sure about the counts or something like that. So don't use for short strings. Use only if the you are not aware about that, and it might lead to some paragraph or some very big kind of thing. So using varchar wisely will save storage and improve indexing performance as well. So keep in mind, never ever over allocate memory in varchar if the thing are being done in the character. And the use scenarios of this is ideal for name addresses, as you can see over here, right? Addresses, as I told, it's a big, it can vary, right, in the length. You are not sure what length it will take. Or descriptions where the data length varies. Descriptions also, like there will be some, for example, let's say our YouTube channel, right? So we'll have descriptions long distances. For that we can use varchar because we're not sure about the characters. Limitation, proper length settings and all, and overuse can can cause, as you can see over here, impact performance. So as I told, if you do overuse, it will impact performance as well. So that's the reason we should avoid over allocating varchar. So this was all about that. And now fifth data type, which is date, right? The date data type. So as you can see, as I told before, right, the date data type, its format is YY, and DD. It's for year, it's for month, it's for day, right? Let's say YYY means 2025, which month it is, April, and date is, if I'm not wrong, it's 21 or 22, it's 20th, okay. So 20th April. So this is the one format of the date. And it is basically, this date data type is essential for tracking user activity, order histories. For example, you want to find the date on which the sale was occurred, or the highest sales were occurred. So you can use this date function, right? And there are some functions also now. It will give you the date and time of now, the now function. Date add, you can add for effective data manipulations. So these are some of the function in date data type again. So you don't have to I think you understood this, and this is data accessible tracking events, transaction, and user activities. So this is one scenario. And yeah, this is all about that. And also if you want to report timelines, and these all things are used. And also SQL gives you some awesome built-in functions, as I just discussed, like now, date difference, date add, date difference, date diff we call it, right? One more function is there called as date diff. This will give you the difference between the two dates. For example, some sales were done in between 1st Jan to the 31st Jan, right, 2025. So it will give the exact number of sales, or number of a percentage of sales occurred, right? And it stores data in date or time, date time, instead of text format for better pairing. So it can be lengthy if you store it in char or varchar, right? So we have a special function and special data types to store those kind of values. So this is what date time function is. And there are so many functions in data. This is the I told, right? One is date, and one is time, and one is date time. So as you got to know, from date it will be the format this, time is HH, and small m, and SS, hour, minute, and second. So this is all about the date functions. And now we'll go to the some of the advanced functions. We'll learn some advanced functions out there, and then we'll conclude. Additional data type, I'm sorry, yes. So additional data types, what are those? So one is Boolean data type, which you all guys would be aware about. In Java you might have used some bool function. If you guys know programming, you might be knowing in Python also we have bool, right? So it's bool basically gives what, true false, right? True false. So it's basically but here what it represents, true false, right? True false values in logical operator, useful for settings and permissions. Settings and permissions. If you want some permissions, right? For example, bool is true. For example, the data type is the student is present in the class or not, right? Or the student scored more than 80% or not. For example, let's say the example. So it will result in the true false, so that it will be easy to store. And it results in the value of 1 and 0, so it will be easy to find out. Basically great for the toggles, flags like is active, is paid. For example, if you have paid the bill, or if you are active on the internet, let's say, for example. So those type of scenarios, this kind of data type are used widely. So now let's understand a little bit of the other data type, which is blob, which is might be very new kind of data type for you people as well. Even I heard it, few days back. So I was like, yeah, okay, this is something new I'm hearing. Actually, it's the name of binary data type, which I had studied. So it was like kind of yeah, binary data type for images and multimedia file they will store. Basically, for mostly used for images only. So it's used for storing images and audio files as well sometimes. And but again, we should avoid unless necessary performance heavy, because again it will take so many of spaces. So it's again increases and reduces efficiency. So this was all about this particular data type. And one more data type, which is JSON. You people would have been quite aware about the JSON, because you might have used Python or so many other places. Basically, it means JavaScript object notation. If you go for full form, but again, it's basically here it's a type of data type. It's a data type, and it's in semi-structured format. And basically, it's useful in modern apps for storing arrays, like I told, right? In the form of dictionary, it will store like keys and values pair. So it is useful in modern apps for solving, storing arrays, key value data, as I told, right? Key value pair, like this, for example, it will store name, j, uh, yeah. So similarly, it will keep storing the data, right? So basically, it's storing key value pair, where key is the name. For example, name is key, value is j, where key is unique and cannot be same. So it's again kind of like that. Yeah, and so it great flexibility it brings, but comes with some querying trade-offs as well. It's kind of flexible to use. So this is all about the JSON data type. And yeah, let's move to the best practices and summary. So best practices basically means what do we get by that. So uh, let's understand some tips so to keep our database healthy. We try to use the we should try to use the smallest possible data type, and avoid the text when varchar suffices. Don't use so much of text when varchar suffices and all. And always use date or date time for temporal data. No, don't go with varchar or char character in that particular type. And also avoid nulls where possible. Like don't try to keep nulls. So try to avoid null values as well, because sometimes it create it becomes difficult to fetch the data, and it will create some kind of ambiguity as well. So don't do that, and use enums or booleans for limited value options. If you want to go with the limited value option, and then try to save the efficiency and try to or don't want to waste the memory of the database, then you can use enums as well, and booleans. Boolean will, as already mentioned before, data types, it's a special type of database which returns in true or false. As I gave example, like did he score 80%, more than 80%, or is the trade was active, he was there or not, something kind of question answer kind of thing, true or false. And yeah, this was all about this SQL data type. And don't forget your schema, is your first line of defense against the dirty data. So document your schema for team collaborations. And so you should keep in mind all those things, like when to use enum, when to use boolean, when to avoid null values, and when not to use varchar, as I mentioned before, when to use char, when to use boolean, when to use date time. So these are all things you have to keep in mind. And this is how we'll be concluding now. So that's what understanding of SQL data type, as you can see over here, like integer, float, varchar, and its fundamental effective database schema design. So yeah, this is all about that. So there you have it. And a solid breakdown of SQL data type you'll use in nearly every project. So the right data type, can improve query performance, improve save. It can even save storage. Plus, it will ensure data integrity. So if you skip this step, your database becomes a mess over the time. And trust me, no analyst like cleaning up someone else's poor design. So nobody will like to, clean your dirty schema design. So try to keep your schema clean, and you can do that by following such methods, like when to use which data type and all. And let's quick recap. So what we use integer for whole numbers, we will use float or decimal for decimals, We will use Varchar for variable text. We'll use date for all time-based data. Plus, we'll use Boolean and JSON Blob for a special use cases that I mentioned. Boolean for if you want to find something which is relevant, true or false, like is active, is not active. And JSON for storing a key value pair, like it's a storage for files and audio files as well. Blob for a special use like audio files and like kind of binary files, images, and all that. So this was all about that. And if this video helped you, clarify your SQL data types doubts, so do me a quick favor, just like this video and subscribe to Tech. Hit that bell icon so you never miss out 12th video where we'll be diving into SQL constants and keys, which is another core topic every analyst must master. And if you got any questions or doubt, drop them in the comment box and I will read and reply to everyone. And hey, don't forget to check out our link in description for free resume templates, mock interview tips, our other channel for job, which is Forge Onwards, where we are bringing 3 important hirings daily. And also, yeah, this was all about that. And until next time, keep learning, keep building, and as always, Forge Onwards. And I will see you in the next video.